Hi, my name is Norma Graham, and I work at the Hanover Public Library as assistant librarian, where I do adult collection development and cataloging. I've been involved in Grey County Reads in a kind of a tangential way for a number of years because I like recommending books to people. That's sort of my jam. And so when Ron wrote around to the different libraries asking for suggestions, I was in like a dirty shirt. And I definitely love doing that. So I think Grey County Reads is a wonderful way to explore new literature that maybe people haven't read before, something a little different, and that it's promoting Canadian literature is great. The book I'm defending this year is Deafening by Frances Itani. It came out, I think, in 2008 originally, and I did read it when it was first published. But I picked it up and reread it about a year and a half ago, and I was struck again by what a brilliant book it is. She was a poet before she was a novelist, and I find that the best novels are written by poets. They have a grasp of language and of imagery that is unparalleled, and so this book has that beautiful use of language that is the trademark of poets who become novelists, I think. This book, I have read a lot of books in my these many years of reading, and I would say that this book would be in my top 10 favorite novels. It's superbly beautifully written. She's a gifted wordsmith. It also speaks to me as a person from Ontario, a person with a long background in Ontario, ancestry here, because Itani writes about her, it's a novel, but it's based on the life of her grandmother, who was born at the beginning of the 20th century, and in Deseronto, which is near Belleville. And at the age of 5, she became deaf because of scarlet fever. And the main character in the story is named Grania. This is what has happened to her. She has become deaf because of illness. And the book talks about resilience and personal strength and the importance of family and of care and support in a family. And Grania overcomes her disability because of the love of her grandmother and her very supportive family. She goes away to school, to the deaf school, the Ontario School for the Deaf in Belleville when she's a small child, and ends up she spent several years there. She learns to lip read. She learns sign language. She learns how to function really well in the world. But she's not sure where she's going to go afterwards. Is she going to go back to Deseronto and work with her family who own a hotel, or what? And so she's staying on at the school to help out over the summer, and she's a young woman by this time, and she meets a young man named Jim. He's a hearing man. He is a physician's assistant, and they fall in love and they get married, and then Jim goes off to fight in the trenches of the First World War. So at that point, the story splits into two. There's Grania's experience of the war at home, and then there's Jim's experience as a stretcher bearer on the Western Front. And she's home hoping and praying and living for the letters that are exchanged between them. And he's experiencing trauma and the deafening noise of the Western Front. So you're traveling with these people through these experiences, and just when you think the war is almost over, he's going to come home, he's going to be okay, it's going to be good, the Spanish flu hits. Grania is stricken, and I won't tell you anymore, but it really it's very heart-wrenching, but ultimately I'll tell you, it's a good ending. It's a happy ending. So the resilience and the strength and the mutual love and support of the people, and also the sorrow and the loss and the grieving are something that we've had to deal with in the last couple of years. Now, these people this generation went through 4 years of an absolutely ghastly war, and then 2 years of an epidemic that seemed unstoppable. And yet they stayed the course. They looked after each other. They cared about each other. And I think that is the message of Deafening that we all need to hear right now. So that's why I'm defending this book this year.